This gentleman to my right, I have never met Dr. Townsend before, and he has an extremely extensive biography. He was born in Wilson, North Carolina. If you've ever been to Wilson, would you raise your hand, please? I rode through there once, Dr. Townsend. That is where you're from, right?
Yeah.
You're good. So far, so good. But seriously, he is a consultant with corporations. He's a consultant with family-owned businesses and small businesses. He operates a leadership coaching program. He's authored or co-authored over 25 books and has a great book. And he's going to be sharing, I think, some principles from boundaries and talking to us about when to say yes, when to say no. He's a co-host of a radio program called New Life Live, and a number of other things I could say about him. But I was just kidding with you, sir, about you just getting here. But we're awful glad you're here, and with great anticipation, we wait to hear what God has for us from you. Bless you as you speak. Let me pray for you specifically as you speak. Lord, thanks for bringing Dr. Townsend here. Thanks, Lord, for the experiences he's had, the wisdom he has. Minister through him as he shares with us this morning. I pray in your name. Amen. Dr. John Townsend.
Thanks, Walt. Thanks. Thanks. Good morning. Thanks for your patience, and I'm really excited to be here. This is a fantastic organization. Hope you guys are having a good time and a fruitful time. That's what it's all about, is a good time and a fruitful time. A man's daughter grew up and went to him and said those words that every man dreads, every father dreads. She said to him, "Dad, I've met the man I'm going to marry." And the father said, "Well, this is a big deal." He says, "This is huge." "Well, I don't even know this guy." She says, "I know. That's why I've set up an interview tomorrow. The man I love is going to come to meet you, and you're going to ask him anything you want to ask him." And the father kind of scrambles and says, "Well, yeah, there's a lot I need to know about this fellow." She says, "He'll be there tomorrow. You'll love him." So the dad does some preparation because this is a big moment. I mean, everybody's got kids, knows how this goes. The man comes to the father's office the next day and says, "Hi, I'm Larry, and I'm interested in marrying your daughter. I want to talk to you." The father said, "Come on in. I got some questions for you, Larry." You know, her mom and I have raised our daughter in a way that we want to make sure things are good for her, and we spend a lot of time and prayer and effort with her. So we've got a few questions for you, just to know who you are, because we have no idea who you are. The young man said, "Fire away." He said, "We have 3 questions. The first one is, what do you do? We don't even know what your job is or your career or, what do you do for a living?" So it's very important to us to get stability for our daughter. The young man says, "Actually, I don't have a job. I don't work. Nope. Hadn't really thought of a career yet. Yeah. No job. But you know what, sir? God will provide." Well, this puts the father into what psychologists call an ambivalent conflict. And an ambivalent conflict is when you see things one way and another way, because you see, when someone plays the God card, you don't know what to do. You ever had somebody who was totally schizophrenic and needed medication, and they told you, "Well, God told me you're supposed to give me all the money"? And you think, "I'm supposed to give him my money. Either an angel's talking or you need big medication." That's an ambivalent conflict. So he gives the young man the benefit of the doubt and says, "Okay, well, you don't have a job, God will provide." Second question, what are your goals and your dreams and your ambitions? Because we want our daughter to have a life where there's goals and dreams and ambitions and exciting stuff and somebody that's going somewhere. So what are these, Larry? Larry says, "Actually, I don't have any. I don't have any real goals or dreams or ambitions. No, just not going anywhere. But God will provide." So now the ambivalent conflict is deepening inside the father. Well, okay. Third question. What are your assets? I mean, we want to make sure our daughter is in a stable place. What, money in the bank and stocks, bonds, real estate, what are your assets? Because we want to make sure there's something for her. He says, sir, I have no assets. I've got no stocks, no bonds, no money, no nothing. But guess what? Everybody. So the audience ends, the young man leaves, and the dad's sitting there in his chair kind of traumatized. Now what, right? So his wife walks in the door and she says, well, honey, did you meet the young man? He says, yes, I did, honey. Well, how was the interview? He says, well, sweetheart, there's good news and there's bad news. And she says, okay, well, bad news first. He said, well, there's lots of bad news. This Yahoo has no job and no dreams and no assets. And now the mom's traumatized. Oh, my goodness. No job, no dreams, no assets. What on earth could be the good news? He says, well, honey, the one piece of good news is he thinks I'm God. Well, for some of you, this is sort of oh gosh, that's my life script, right? But there's a point to that little story, and it's that in leadership and in organizational work, there is an automatic hat you wear by virtue of somebody that gave you that hat. Whether you're a CEO or an executive, small business owner, even minister or pastor, NGO, there's a hat you wear that you've been delegated that hat to. And the very nature of that hat says that somebody somewhere in your organization is going to put you in the God place, put you in the God role. And by the God role, what I mean is expect you to take care of that which they cannot take care of. And there's the problem, is in leadership, it's a heavy load. But it's a heavy load with limits to it. And when you give into the pressure for someone to say, my performance issue is your problem, because I've got no job, no assets, no dreams. My cultural issue is your problem. My can't get it done issue is your problem. My attitude is your problem. Fix it, fix it, fix it, fix it. What happens is the leadership hat becomes a prison. And I work with lots of leaders that are very, very high capacity, high performing people. They have a great faith. They have great abilities. They have great dreams, visions. They have great strengths. But there's something in them that they've allowed that hat to become a prison. And what happens is that you begin to disobey some biblical laws of physics and functioning about how we're supposed to operate. Because what the Bible teaches is that we're supposed to have limits. We're supposed to have boundaries. Jesus said in Matthew 5, let your yes be yes. And what else? Let your no be no. My experience with leadership just over the years has kind of been overwhelming, that leaders are trained to say yes. Take on the task. Take on the mission. Take on the mandate, the initiative, the project, the BHAG, the stretch goal. Because you guys are wired that way. You know, you're wired for challenge. It's exciting. You like to do things that you can't do. You like to stretch beyond yourself. And that's a great part of being a leader. And if a person can't stretch beyond themselves, they probably shouldn't be a leader, because it's a hat that stretches you. And that's good. And it brings endorphins and energy and excitement. And you wake up in the morning, ready to go. But there's a point. There's a point where you have to say, no. This isn't me. This isn't what I should be doing. And the leader that doesn't do that is basically in some kind of jeopardy, some kind of trouble. I'll get people sometimes I'm working with that started life on, in their mid-20s, ready to go, grabbed the MBA, bought the business, and they're just excited. And then in their 40s, sometimes mid to late 40s or so, they'll start to feel the energy go away. Like, kind of dreading this, kind of burnout feeling, like where's the excitement? And they'll come in feeling really guilty, like, gosh, am I not really serious about this anymore? Do I need just to get my mojo up? Do I need to go work out more or whatever? And we'll do the breakdown of their life and we'll find out, no, it's not a mojo issue, and it's not a you're not working out issue, and it's not a you're not praying enough issue. You know what it is? Is you don't have a no muscle. You don't, you got your yes muscle that works right here. I'll take care of it, no problem. Yep, I'll be there for you. But your no muscle's broken. And when we address the no muscle, yes be yes, no be no, things start to change. So my takeaway for us today in this time is that you'll have a no muscle, or a better no muscle, or the beginnings of a no muscle, so that you can feel better about the energy you need, the vision you need, all the people skills you need. It works out. It's a great proverb, chapter 4, verse 23. And Solomon tells us, above all, guard your heart, for from it flow the well springs of life. Above all, guard your heart. Now, I don't know about you, but whenever I read in the Bible and it says the words above all right beside something else, I kind of pay attention, because the whole Bible is supposed to be highlighted. You better highlight the highlighted part here. When God says above all, you pay attention. And he says, guard your heart. And what that passage means is, this is about a stewardship of your life. It's about self-care. It's about taking ownership of your passion and your dream and that thing that started you working in the first place, and saying, I'm putting my energy into that, and it's saying, I've got to protect that, because leaders don't protect themselves.